Welcome everyone to today's workshop. The workshop will be hosted by our Director of International Sales, Dr. Melissa Cow.
Thank you, everyone. Good to see you again. So today we're going to talk about the passenger flow management for airports, specifically on the RFI stage. Now, this is a series of workshops that we're going to have for airport solution, breaking down into the different phase. So the RFI phase where airports operator may only just be an early stage of exploration. So this stage is quite specific. You want to look at what's available out there in the market. What are the things you need to consider? How do you work on cost efficiency and so forth? And because for very specific, this is a specialized industry, navigating the regulations and of course the managing passenger experience is critical for airport. And also you need to look at for a long-lasting solutions is one of the essential selection criteria. 15-year lifespan is almost the norm or the basic minimum. So the exploration will focus on understanding what solutions is needed and what should be included in the system. The further workshop, we will then talk about the RFP stage where we talk more about in-depth design, planning on the floor plan, what kind of system should go in the design samples, the coverage metrics, the deliverables, what kind of decision goes into the design, the cost analysis, and then we talk about integration as well. Now then another workshop where we'll then cover more specifically when you're going into an RFQ stage, where we'll cover the total cost of ownership, what's the CAPEX, OPEX, the SLA, the support, the installation, the commissioning, the training as well that you probably need specifically for the airport solution, and of course the project management and customization. Now we also then have another workshop where because usually for the airports, the most initial part you'll be covering is the security, the border control, the check-in area. Those are usually the aeronautic revenue side. But when you already have this, then you'll be looking at the bigger picture, the full passenger journey, which then includes the non-aeronautical revenue, which actually, it is actually almost like 40% of the total revenue of an airport operator. So that's important as well. So we'll be covering more on offering the insights and innovations in the AI retail analytics. We are very established in the retail industry, so we have already got this part of the equipment, system, analysis, dashboards, everything ready, which will be very, very useful for the airport when they want to then have behavior analysis, prediction, planning with that, and reaction to the prediction on flight changes, which flight should go to which gate to optimize retail revenue, and all that. So to give you a comprehensive passenger journey, literally from car to the plane. Yeah, so we'll cover this in the next workshops. So today we're going to talk specifically, of course, on the planning stage initially, the exploring stage. So why you will need a tailored people counting system, because your airport is not the same environment from the start to the end. So you will have places where you have a low ceiling, places where you have a high ceiling, where you have a very big open space where high density crowd, where you cannot install a overhead or a ceiling mounted device. So you probably need a combination of different devices. So this gives you the flexibility in terms of catering the different environment requirement, as well as obviously being cost effective that way when you're flexible to choose different type of devices. We'll go through that a bit more in details. Now, what is a must-have key feature for airports? So airports, unstructured queues is the most important thing, because the queue actually just changed throughout the day. Within the hour, they go to counter for different flight check-in, different airline staff, all throughout the day. Now, we kind of like uh, uh, um, simplified it to the three must-have. One is the top-down people counter that can cater from low ceiling, 2.2 meter to 25 meter high ceiling. Top-down is ideal, especially when you have where you have a lot of people, and able to detect and manage an unstructured queue and the real-time data aggregation. We have a short kind of like a paper to talk about that. We will share this is in the link. We will be sharing the slide so you can have a little look after this. So the type of queues, I won't read it out, but the type of queues are in the check-in area, passenger control, security screening. These are the usual one. And the challenges in that is that you have multiple service desks per queue, high density occlusion, and the different queue path. So the step one is we're using a DB scan, so density-based spatial clustering of applications with noise. So it's effective in grouping passengers into distinct queue because we identify them based on their proximity to each other and their movement in the line. So we can differentiate and separate the queue because this line ends up into these two service desks, that one specifically only end to this service desk and so forth. So we can differentiate and separate them, as well as ignoring the outliers, because you will have people on the side which is not part of the queue. So these are all very important things. And we then identify the head of the queue, where it is. So therefore, this one, we can detect obviously the movement transitioning from the queue to the service desk, and then we can measure the serving rate. So this serving rate will give you the throughput and, of course, the performance review of the processing time of each individual desk. And from the serving rate, then we can calculate the wait time, because the waiting time in the queue obviously is depend on the total number of people in the queue length, as well as the processing rate. So this then with that, of course, then it will give you an estimate queue time, a display on that, and prediction as well for that. Now, we are able to differentiate the staff from passengers because you don't want staff in the area to then skew the data. Of course, then the benefit is that you can have your queue length measurement, you can have the real-time queue segmentation, serving rate, wait time, estimation, staff identification, and all this for that. So you can have a look at that. Now, big question, of course, why FootfallCam? I think we have a few feature here. We have local presence in almost all area in the world. We closely collaborate with a lot of local partners who can then give you local services. So from doing a site survey to actually helping with the installation, and then after that, support, local call out, all that. We are already very established in other industries. So we have established partners who know what they're doing, who can support. But we also have flexibility to work with your own preferred because a lot of airports have their own preferred maintenance team or doing the cabling, so they would prefer to do that. Then we provide a lot of support, including training or complementary, to help you to make sure then you can do the installation and support it very well. We have a wide range of devices, so these allow you to pick and mix the right device at the right cost for the right features and achieving the business goals. The third thing, we have a open architecture. So our system integrator can collaborate with you and also your other vendor like Viovo or any other platform, airport management platform that you already have. So we ensure no vendor locked in. Yeah, and that is very important because you want that flexibility in that too. And data integration. So of course, we have an open API that's very important for easy integration with any internal system, integrating with your flight information into your display, your in the airport display, so that you can display your check-in desk with the queue, your security area, what is the estimation of that, and any of those widget for your website or for your passenger apps. So one of the design consideration for airports would be occlusion. So this is the first thing first. So occlusion is a critical challenge, especially when you have densely crowded, like for example here. So we have a flexibility of using CCTV for that, but if you have it at a low angle and when it's very highly dense, then you would see you have occlusion for that with an optical blockage. So in this case, maybe a top-down view from a 3D people counter with no occlusion would be best. But then you have, of course, then different scenario. We'll talk about those different scenarios. So airport characteristics of usually large space, high ceilings. Sometimes you do have low ceilings. We have airports where even at the check-in area you have low ceiling. So then we have a choice of different devices. Now, highly crowded, this is a given, actually. So the factors to consider would be the allowable mounting height, the density of the crowd, and also the speed of the passenger movement, because different devices, they all have their pros and cons. So the ability to be able to choose the correct technology then becomes very useful. Now at the check-in area, so scenario one at the check-in desk area, high density, a lot of people, high mounting height usually, and so you might want, if it's a high mounting height, of course not limited to check-in area, of course, and you might have other area, passport control, if you have a high mounting height, then similarly, that we will recommend a 3D extend, because this could go up from a standard ceiling to a very high ceiling. On there. We also have accessories that also could help with mounting and positioning that. We have a precision with 2K by 2K resolutions, very high resolution, so we ensure very accurate tracking even if they're moving very fast. Yeah, so these are ideal for check-in counters, boarding gates, and more. So for example, in here, that's where you can see, this is a top-down view, so there's no occlusion, and we can, of course, then track the queue journey. Now, where you have a high density but low mounting height, then we recommend the 3D Pro 2. So this is designed for high traffic passageway, very fast moving traffic, especially when they're queuing for the security checks or things like this. So we have that. Is again an accurate top-down counting, limits occlusion, therefore passport control, security checkpoint, which may have more normal ceiling or low ceiling over there. Now, where you have a lower density or a very large monitoring area like the baggage collection, or even at the big lobby area, then you can use, and also if you already have a CCTV camera there, then you can use the Centroid to count. You can click on this later to go and look at it. It's very, very accurate, and we are counting every one. So you can see that this one camera can cover such a big space. I think it will tell you that it will cover such a big space that actually really reduce the cost of the number of devices required. Now, it's ideal for like big lobbies, area like this, baggage claim, and other area, and also area where you have a lot of dangling decoration, lightings, or any other dangling, where a ceiling mount would be occluded by all this ceiling furniture. So you would do that. The only place is not ideal is where you actually have very low ceiling. So a ceiling ideal like 4 to 6 meter area where you can have the camera, that would just be perfect for this. And the good thing about this Centroid is one Centroid can analyze up to 16 camera, so making it very very cost effective, as well as if you already have CCTV and you're able to make use of them, then you don't even have to run any more cable or have any more devices installed on at the area. Yeah. So a little bit more about the product. We have 3 technologies, 3 counting devices, so that we together give us a lot of metrics, and we also have the apps to cater for different workflow. So combining that, in the previous webinar we've talked about, so we can be 10 times cheaper because of just slightly more competitive price on the device level, but because of the wide coverage, because of the different choice of thing, you'll be using less required device. So in terms of that, all cost comes down. So when you're considering a big project, so you can be 10 times cheaper with 10 times more metrics and 10 times more business value. So specifically for Pro 2, this is for the standard ceiling or the low ceiling, 2.2 to 4.5 meter. Now, if I then go on to the video, I might go to a bigger video so you can see it a bit better here. So we're combining AI analytics with a depth map and a depth view and 3D. This is very important because you have different environment, different situation, and each technology of them, they have their pros and cons. Some, when you have challenges like very repeating pattern of the floor, then or motion blur and black surfaces, then that's the AI video analytics challenges, but AI is good at detecting bags. In airports, probably important, and differentiating groups and kits and staff, so we can differentiate staff, airline staff, security staff, and all that. This depth map will be very good at reconstructing 3D models, even when you have a poor image. So it can handle different floor patterns, whereas we also have 3D stereo vision, which actually gives a height of a person, and it's across different mounting height. We can also give a reliable height information. So, so by combining, because we have now put in very strong hardware with an NPU, so neural processing unit, and a GPU 25 frames that can actually handle high definition video analytics with obviously a strong octa-core. By combining that three technology together, now we can, how should we say, we can help each other's weaknesses, and combining with that, then we can push the accuracy to very, very high, and obviously cover each other's weakness for that. And so with that, we can do things like with all that, for example, here, one device, you can have multiple application. So we can count number of people, like if this is on the retail side, number of people passing by, number of people engaging with an area, number of people queuing, and distinguishing the staff, as you can see there, on all that, and demographic, knowing the male, female, and the gender, and the path map, and so forth. So this is the video there. So that's the Pro 2. Sorry, wrong click. So for the higher ceiling with the 3D extend, it provides a very large coverage. At the high ceiling, we can coverage, one device can cover up to 2,600 square feet, depending on obviously the height of it. We have an extra long device here where the lens is away from each other. This allows you to actually zoom in and cover a very large area. Again, similar to the Pro 2, we also have very powerful hardware within it, so it can provide occlusion-free, accurate top-down counting. And the most thing is, because of the wide coverage, you will reduce the number of devices you need. So comparing with other vendor, we can cut, like for example, at this height, we have 54% more coverage, and at the 10-meter height, we can actually cover that area with almost 135% increase in coverage on there. Now, if I show you this video on the 3D extend. So I also want to mention something. We also have a masking. You notice that we have a masking over. This is then fully GDPR compliant. We have this masking at the chip level, so you will not be able to undo the mask. So to make sure this is all fully GDPR compliant. So as you can see, we can cover a big area, even though when people coming up and down a staircase, it can be counted very accurately as well. So we're not affected by, the the 3D because of the combination. Just one more challenge is here. I want to mention, if you notice that this person is actually coming down the staircase, typically with just a 3D technology, this is a tricky part because the person changes its height. But whereas with a AI view, we can now accurately count that person. So that's why combining the 3 technology is very useful. So here you are seeing that we actually have a mask over this queue, so we can distinguish the staff because of the uniform that they're wearing, and also their behavior because they are behind this counter. And then we count number of people who are queuing, processing time, and also, of course, people surrounding that they are not in the queue. So now with the Centroid, then we can do AI analytics like the video that I show there. It is suitable for high ceiling or an open space where there's no ceiling space, or ceiling mounting is not an option because you will have some situation like that. Then you have a solution here with the Centroid. You can make use of the existing CCTV that you already have, or you can install additional IP camera, which is very cost effective and very expensive coverage. Like imagine if you put a camera at a correct angle at the correct height, one camera can even cover up to 10,000 square feet. So that really put the cost down a lot. And we also have a local AI model training. We are very different from other CCTV company because different countries, different airport, you have different demographic of passengers. So our AI, we are not using a global or a generic AI model. We can continuously train your specific device to learn and adapt to your airport's specific passenger flow, passenger demographic to improve the accuracy of the prediction for your airport. Yeah, we have Re-ID in our Centroid. Re-ID is a re-identification of a person based on their skeleton, the clothes that they are wearing, the gait, the way they're moving, all based on these very unique features of the passengers, but not personal information. So that this is all GDPR compliant, but we are able to then recognize the same passenger. So even though sometimes you're unavoidable, you have occlusion, but because we identify them. So because they're moving, so sometimes they are occluded by someone in front of them, but then sometimes they move out and being able to be seen again. So because of this Re-ID, we are able to accurately track that person, even though he may be going in and on and off from the camera view. So this is very important to have the Re-ID feature. It's very cost effective, as I mentioned. It can support up to 16 camera. So those were the hardware choices, yeah, where you would choose and put where. The use cases, of course, then a few things here. Live dashboard, that of course is one of the main criteria. You can optimize operation in real time. You can then make data-driven decision, immediately, and of course then letting your passenger see, what they're expecting and so forth. Automatic queue detection, as we mentioned there, unstructured queue, dynamic queue, so we accurately track that. Prediction, so we provide AI-powered predictions using historical data, your current real-time passenger flow, and your current flight details. So you might change flight, then your next flight is coming up. So what kind of queue we are predicting that you're going to have in the next half an hour. So things like this. So we have all that prediction there, and real-time alerts. So when we have a situation when you reach a certain threshold, you have a rules engine that you can create. So you can then alert the staff accordingly. So you can optimize staff allocation to where they need to be. Yeah. And of course, then you have all the data reports, dashboards, review to all the different stakeholders, different departments, to ensure, of course, the transparency and SLA compliance. So live dashboard for passengers and of course for the staff as well. Then you can receive immediate information. You can have things like putting it on your display screen to tell them what is a queue like, having a traffic light color on that, and estimate queue for the security. You can have it like display like this for the passengers as well as for staff, and integrating to your airline display board with the different airlines and their estimated check-in desk queue time or the border control security check queue time. Can also integrate, we provide widget to put it on your website, as well as can integrate with your, if you have apps, into your apps. So not only for the, because then passenger can then look at it and then alert them, you better be in the airport 4 hours early instead of 3 hours because we have a certain flight combining together and things like this. Yeah. And as well as arrival as well. So then you don't want everyone, all the family and friends come to pick up their, pick up the passengers and, clock up all the car park or the arrival hall. So you can give them a approximate, um, um, of course, notification when they should be coming out. Now, automatic queue prediction, something, so this is a little bit more visual that you can see. So we can detect individual with the dynamic queue is adaptable to unstructured environment, as we mentioned in the paper just now. So you can optimize staff deployment, whether or not that that counters is obviously not open. So you can then, and everyone's going to here. So you can then open it up or things like this. So you can optimize that. So for that. So the prediction is AI powered. So we, as we mentioned, we leverage the historical data and also the real-time current information about your queue, your passenger flow, and the flight details to provide a more better forecast. So as you see here, this is the passenger in so far to here. This is the prediction. What is going to be? Is it going to plateau, or is it going to go up, or is it going to get quieter? And then this is where we then predict how many checkpoints you require. And if we require more, like at this point where we require you to open more, we will be sending the appropriate alert to the relevant person to say, okay, open another checkpoint. Again, open another one, and so forth. And we can also, of course, then you can also set up to send alert and say, okay, you can reduce now, because reducing the staff from here, you may then deploy them into another zone that needed that. So this is a proactive way to prevent bottleneck and of course then enhance the passenger experience. Similarly, customizable real-time alert with that, of course, then you optimize the staff allocation. You can have a big view on all the different zones. So you can set a target, like for example, if you set it the queue time to be 10 minutes. When it's below that, everything's fine, is green. But if it's over that, then it's red. So you can have a traffic light color to say when you really, of course, this is over, then you really need to send a lot of staff to the check-in desk to help and so forth. And you can have configurable alert threshold, P1 for critical and P2, P3, then obviously then can be sent to different stakeholder. For example, when it's at the level threshold, then you send it to maybe the supervisor. But when it then goes to the P1, then you send it to the manager and so forth. Now, the data, you can have automated data exports to the relevant person to your different platform. Then you can look at different dashboard. I will show you some of that as well. And to also compare with your SLA to see whether or not you are actually within compliance within, or when you breach it, how much you have breached, when is the time that the breach is likely to occur. So then you can then cater for that peak period. So for example, here, you can also map it onto your floor plan. Then you would know how many desks are open, how many people are there, what kind of waiting time is in that area, and so forth. So you can map it onto your floor plan, and the alerts goes from there. This is queue monitoring. This is more a report. Then you can look at different date, different aggregation of different week or different specific period or month, and so, and then you can then look at which is the waiting area that have the longest queue and so forth. So you can look further in there. For example, here, which zones have the so that hour you have a very long queue in every zone, or are they are they evenly distributed, or a specific zone was really high queue and so forth. So different kind of queue performance report, and like queue time distribution as well. So you will always have queue, of course, then but how many percentage of time where the queue is exceptionally long, you obviously then want to reduce that, uh, and so forth. And also what we also have is like a dashboard like this for operator to look at the different zone, like similar to that one. That's your capacity. What we have here is also the change, the last minute or last 5 minute change, and the next, this is a prediction, the next 1 minute or next 5 minute change, because this will then give you and see which one you need to react to. So this for example is getting busier, whereas this one is, although is at a critical level, but is getting quieter. So then it allows you to then, okay, know a little bit more forward rather than only just act on the spot, but you can plan what you can do next, things like this. So again, management review, I'll probably show you more here, a little bit clearer. So for example, again, you can map it on the floor plan where the queuing time is long. And then historically, like if the last 3 months, where's my waiting time distribution? Mostly it's customs area, baggage area, passport. So apparently my check-in area is fine. And on the arrival hall, then you can see, you would think that passport area or security is bad, but probably is the custom area that needed attention, so forth. And also you can also look at things like if it's in the security inspection area, if the queue is optimal or if it's a long wait. So again, there's quite a lot of different ways. And what next also is onto the retail side. This then become very useful. So your passenger go through the security. Now they come to the air side. So how do they spend the time before they have to board the aircraft? So where are they? Do they sit at the gate and wait? Do they go to the lounge, or do they shop around? And when they shop around, where do they shop at? So these are all the flow map, the track on there. And if you move the flight from this gate to that gate, does it impact the shopping behavior? Do they not shop at a certain shop now? Or if I have a flight near this shop, if am I increasing the spending and the revenue at that shop? So these are the things that we will cover in the next workshop. So we will welcome you for our next workshop. We're going to talk a little bit more about integrating. Oh, sorry, I have one point that I forget. So forgive me if I have 5 minutes to talk about this. So for example, this one here is like the flight to shop uplift. Yeah. So some flight, some different passengers, maybe they have a preference in shopping at different shop. For example, here, this is a souvenir shop and this is a cafe. So then you might find that the flight flying to Cyprus, they have more people going into the souvenir shop, although they also have people going into the cafe. Whereas flying to Denmark, only to the souvenir shop, you hardly have anyone going into the cafe. And for that, and the one to Netherlands similarly, but the one to China, then you have more people going into the cafe, possibly because they want to have some local cuisine before they leave the country, or because it's a very long flight and hence they want to have something to eat, and so forth. So these are the things where if you then understand this, then you can then plan where you put which flight should go to which gate. And then you can then analyze as well the impact. If you then move it, will it have a better impact or a negative impact, and so forth. And we'll cover this in the next workshop. So upcoming workshop, we're going to talk about the integrating with AODB, which is specifically how to enhance the retail analytics in airport. And after that, then we're going to talk about the RFB stage, more about system design, floor plan design, which specific device you should use it where, the deliverables, and the RFQ stage, where we'll explain more specifically, the whole costing, total cost of ownership, procurement insights and setup and all that. And another one after that, then the operations, airport PFM operations, support and maintenance and best practices, and there. And then the last one, we'll talk about more the whole advanced data analytics beyond just the people counting, or what AI can do with in terms of the prediction, what kind of insights it can give you. We're talking about generative AI, so predictive AI, generative AI. So it can tell you a lot of insight, recommend a lot of operation alerts and actionable plan with minimal human input, because this is obviously after learning your own data. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Melissa, for the insightful presentation. We've covered some great points today, and I'm sure our audience has a lot of questions. And we've already received some great questions, so we will now move on to the Q&A.
Yes. So we have one question is, can we do the installation ourselves? Yes. So we have partners all in different parts of the world, but we always work very closely with your own preferred contractor for cabling route. So we do the we kind of like X marks the spot on your floor plan to provide all those system design, mounting location. We support on device setup and configuration. So we have free installation training as well. Yeah. A question about a costing. So this is a question. We are a regional airport with 65,000 square meter in Italy. So roughly how many devices would I need, and roughly how much? So this is just going to be very rough idea. So I am thinking a combination of Pro2, Extend, and Centroid with your CCTV on board. We're thinking roughly probably 60 devices, and the equipment cost probably range between like 45,000 US dollar. And when you then include your installation, your project management and all that, so total project price probably about 90K, 90,000 for that. That's a rough estimate. Yeah. So it can go down to that. Now, there is, of course, there is the SLA cost, because someone was asking if we have an SLA cost. We do. Your support and maintenance, of course, then your response time on there. And the question is, when using the Centroid, is the SLA cost per Centroid or per camera? It is per Centroid. Yeah. So per Centroid, whether it's for one CCTV that you connected to the Centroid or the full 16 CCTV that you connected to the Centroid, is per Centroid. Yeah. So now some of you have mentioned you have installed some other devices, be it Zovis or other brand, Vemco or other brand. Can you integrate it into FootfallCam? Yes, we offer an open API, and we can allow integration with third-party devices. We have integrated many, including Zovis, Breakstream, irises. We integrated a lot of irises when they have closed down. We actually literally have a legacy care plan for that, so that we're able to host any existing CCTV, or sorry, any existing incumbent people counting devices that you already have into our system, so that when you're doing your prediction, we can take into account different devices and give you a more holistic view of the whole site. So those data can be fed into it, and we have a centralized reporting. Another question. So we are using Vivo. Can your devices integrate into our existing system? Yes, Vivo itself, it already integrate with multiple hardware. They're also picking whatever hardware is they feel suitable for the environment. And we do have an API to facilitate this, as mentioned, so we can fit into them, as well as other airport management system, because it's important. That is a must anyway, to integrate with the airport management system. Another question, you're looking at potentially using LiDAR. Can we deploy both technology? Equally, we don't sell the LiDAR, but yes, you can use your LiDAR if you prefer that. And likewise, like with the previous questions, you can integrate it into the FootfallCam V9, when you can combine the best from both worlds or multiple worlds. Another question, we dynamically change our queue. Okay, how can the system accommodate this? So we have mentioned this about how we do the dynamic queue, the unstructured queue, and we can also help with we have a floor plan design tool, then we can help with that. So you don't need any physical adjustment of the sensor, then we can adapt the zone layouts, because sometimes you might change, airline might change their check-in desk from this zone to another zone. You are able to then change it on the software without needing to touch physically on the device level. One last question. In our check-in lobby, the ceiling is high. However, there are lightings dangling down. What should I do? In this case, if possible, then we will use a drop-down pole to lower either the Pro 2 or the or the Extend, or otherwise use a CCTV with Centroid. If you're able to mount it about 6 to 8 meter high, you will get a very good coverage angle, and you can cover a very wide area. Okay, thank you. I think that's the time for, I think I have overrun anyway. So thanks for all those questions. I hope I have answered most of them.
Thank you, Dr. Muller, for the wonderful presentation, and thank you everyone for attending the workshop today. And once again, thank you for joining the workshop, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.